I'm really excited today.
Yeah.
Where are we shooting first?
Well, I've got this private photography client.
Okay.
I've got to teach him first, so you just kind of disappear into the background. I'll take him to all the low-hanging fruit. We'll do some easy waterfall stuff, sure. And then we'll have some shenanigans later. All right, cool. All right. So, what's your name again?
Ben.
Ben, right. Where are you from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Oh God, yeah. We just drove through there. What kind of camera are you shooting with?
A Leica.
A Leica. They're a bit fancy, aren't they?
Yeah, a little bit.
I just shoot with a Sony.
I'm sorry.
My wife's got a hasselblad. They're fancy, aren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
Yeah. All right, well, do you want to grab your bag and we'll get to the first shoot? Now, yes, I've come back to my favourite tree in all of Nova Scotia. I know you've seen this a lot, but we will be shooting other things today. But this is just a really good spot to bring Ben because it's just such an interesting subject and there's so much around it to work with. So that's what we'll do first, is we'll just play with this foreground, see what we can frame up. Are you okay with me showing people your pictures when they're done? Yeah. Unless they're better than mine, in which case I won't see them.
So while Ben got busy composition hunting, I thought I'd go and see Chris and check out his new gear acquisition.
It's interesting, Chris, this looks a lot like that shot that I got last October in this exact same spot. Look, it looks kind of similar. Some might say identical.
Mine will be better.
Why?
Look at my new camera.
What you got there?
Canon R5.
What?
Far superior to the Sony.
Let's have a look at what you got. Let's have a look at this camera.
Ooh, I wish my camera did that. Why, Sony? Why don't you do that? Please.
When did you get that?
3 days ago.
Is it because I've been shooting with that Hasselblad, you're a bit inadequate feeling?
I was definitely camera envious with Amanda's Hasselblad,
I know.
sure.
Me and you both, mate. So you're going for a vertical, eh?
Yeah, what did you do?
Same thing.
Oh.
By this time, I figured that Ben would have compiled a nice tidy selection of quick handheld compositions.
Where's Ben? How's it going, Ben? Yeah? You got a few little diamonds? I like this one because I like how the tree is off center, and from this position it really looks like a sort of grabbing hand. I would just give it a little bit more space on the edge of the frame. So that one's a good one, we can work with that. So same sort of thing, I like this, but these guys in the edge of the frame seem a bit too tight, so I would either back off and fit them in a bit more, or just exclude them. Yeah, so this one, sort of similar, still a little bit tight there, but you've given this a lot more space here, which I love. It's got what I call buffer zones. It's a nice buffer zone at the bottom. And I kind of like how you just got that sort of fork in the tree at the top there. So I think if we could work on that one, but maybe just give it this tree here a smidge more space. I mean, it seems tiny because we're looking on the back of the screen. I bet if we were looking on a computer screen, that probably wouldn't be that much of an issue, but I'd try and get a little bit more space there if we could. So this one I really like. You've perfected that bit at the end there, although there is one other tree sort of creeping in, which, you know, it's a compromise. You might have to clone it out. I love all of this here. You've got this like perfectly spaced. So to me, that seems like the strongest one so far. I really like that one. And then that one's pretty good too. It's so simple, right? It's really clear, and there's just nothing else interfering with it. So that's a strong one too. That one, you've picked up on it. That's it. But other than that, that one's great too. So quite a few good ones there. Some nice strong ideas. So let's pick a winner. We'll lock down with the tripod, and then we'll shoot this for reals.
Just when I thought I was starting to make a great artistic connection with Ben, well, I guess I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good composition, but I just move it a little bit over.
No, I'm good.
Hey, you've got it?
Yeah, I got it, thanks.
All right, we'll go and we'll grab my camera then.
I'd maybe angle it a little to the right.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right.
Do you ever get the feeling that you're not being taken seriously by your peers?
Oh, that looks good.
How's it going, Chris, with your posh new camera there?
Yeah, pretty good, I think. Trying to take a shot of this waterfall. I think I got the idea from another photographer for this particular
I think you did.
spot. But,
yeah.
No. but having a bit of issues.
Yeah, technical issues?
Technical issues,
What's that?
learning curve.
What's happening?
I can't get the shutter speed below half a second.
Oh, it doesn't do that on my Sony camera. There's no limits.
Should I take it back?
Well, if you guys know what's going on here, I'm sure it'll be some really obvious, and yet bizarre and archaic reason. But if you know why in manual mode Chris cannot shoot any longer than half a second, post a comment and let us know. If you can't figure it out, you can borrow my Sony if you want.
Okay. All right. You said it's a 64 megapixel, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah,
cool.
I've even got some good lenses that you haven't got. Yeah.
Have you ever played to a tough crowd? Yeah, I figured I'd give it another go and see if I could connect with Ben.
Did the mist come back, Ben? So just still waiting for the mist then, eh? Yeah. Well, you know, one thing you could do while you wait is you could just keep your tripod in position and then just do a few handhelds, and then you might get another good comp, but you'll always be able to find this one because your tripod's still there. Try that.
Ben's action stance was really quite impressive, and I began to feel like at last we were getting along.
Yeah, that's probably a good. I'd get a little bit, right, yeah, just get a little bit lower. Yeah, no, more of a squat. Yeah. No, now you're just sitting on a rock. Just, you know, spread your legs a bit more. That's it. Now, pull a really strained face.
After working that tree for so long, it was time for Ben to try something different over at the creek.
Ben, it looks quite uncomfortable there. What seems to be the problem?
I'm just trying to line up my shot.
Yeah, well, have you not got a flippy screen on that very expensive camera there?
Well, I mean, it's not really necessary for good photography.
No, you don't feel it's necessary.
No, it's fine.
Because you look really uncomfortable there. Ben.
No, listen, it's not art unless you suffer for it.
Now, Benny's actually 100% correct there. It's not art unless you suffer for it. I totally agree with that. And that's why I like to stand in rivers like this, even when it's minus 28 Celsius. So, I mean, at any point, feel free, you know, if you want to stand in that, it's only about 6 feet deep there.
Okay.
So, you know, if you want to try that, you did sign the waiver though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
So Ben continued to suffer for his art in a full 5-minute squat, which was actually quite impressive. I bet he's one of those CrossFit guys.
Right, so I think it's time to move on, Ben. But before we go, did you learn some stuff there?
Yeah, I mean, it was very helpful. And Chris, you gave me a few good tips too.
Apparently you got some good photo tips off you.
Of course he did. I learned from the best. The Adam Gibbs YouTube channel.
So Gavin, when are we gonna get some snacks?
Snacks?
Yeah.
You know,
you have snacks with your sessions, don't you?
well, I've got snacks for me, but this you're paying for tuition, not food. But luckily Chris has got his van full of goodies, I'm sure.
I've got options.
Yeah? What you got, Chris?
Can have a bowl of chili. Can have a curry. Can have some cheese and crackers with some salami meat.
So is any of that any good for you?
I'm vegan.
Vegan. Is bear spray...
Relax, vegans, it's only a joke. I'm not against it. In fact, I might even try it at some point in my life. The next location required a bit of a hike, followed by a brief climb. But oh, that view from the top of the hill.
So we made it to the top of the gypsum pile, and it's kind of sketchy because it's gypsum, right? So it's just crumbling down the hill. So we're just sitting on crumbly gypsum, and I'm sure it's safe though. It's probably totally fine, guys. You know, I won't worry. But the sun's a little bit high right now, so we're waiting for the sun to drop a little bit just so that the light's a bit softer and a bit warmer. But look at these clouds. We've got absolutely fantastic cloudage, so I hope that that sticks around right up to sunset. If it does, we're going to get some killer shots, because just look at the lake there. Beautiful and green. And we have these moments of calm where you get a nice reflection of these cliffs in the water. And I was just remarking that with all the kids and families just swimming in the lake, might make quite a lucrative shot for tourism, you know, Nova Scotia tourism. So if you're watching, get in touch, do your deal. I will let you know now that Jason's a YouTuber. He's got his own channel, which I'll put a link to there. And also Chris, you know Chris already. And Jason just mentioned that he gets a bit shy talking on his camera in front of an audience. So I thought that this would be a perfect opportunity, you know, with a friendly audience, to practice his banter and his spiel, just to get comfortable, you know? You think that's a good idea?
We can try.
Yeah, he's willing to try. So, So what do you do? Like in the first minute of your video, have you got like a catchphrase or anything like that?
Not really. I usually just start with, you know, well, here, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Hey friends, it's Jason, and I am on a road trip, and I am visiting a crew in Nova Scotia, and of course you see Miss Amanda, and you see fototripper himself, Mr. Gavin Hardcastle. We've got Chris down here, we've got Ben, and of course we've got me, and we are at the Shedda Camp Gypsum Mines in northwestern Cape Breton, eastern Cape Breton, and we're waiting for the sun to go down a little bit and get better light, and we're going to take some pictures, so stay tuned.
Look at that, all in one breath. I'm feeling a bit inadequate now.
It never goes that well in the first time.
So you just proved then that pressure makes you a better performer.
Maybe so.
Now after that really flawless performance twice, I must say, by Jason, it's Chris's turn. So turn it on, Chris.
G'day friends, I am here in northeastern Nova Scotia with a crew of photographers. Behind me we have Jason. Over there we have fototripper, Mr. Gavin Hardcastle himself. Here we have Ben and Amanda. We find ourselves at the Shedda Camp Gypsum Mines, waiting for the sun to go down, get some nice light, and in for some good shots. I think we're in for a good night. See you soon.
I will say that that was very good. However, there was a bit of plagiarism going on there, I noticed, because it sounded a lot like Jason's intro.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you put mine first in your video, it actually sounds like it was mine and not Jason's.
That's what I like about you, Chris. You're solution oriented.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There's always a solution to a problem.
There's always a way around an obstacle. Right, well, I reckon we're a good hour and a half from any kind of decent light. What we're going to do for an hour and a half.
So we tucked into Ben's bag of nuts, and then he got busy finding his first composition.
What do you think about this? Well, what I would be tempted to do, because you've only got 24mm and this is really wide, I'd be tempted to go vertical, and then I would do a big sweeping panorama, and that'll give you everything you need, plus super high resolution.
Ben, how do you feel about Gavin hanging your Leica off the side of a cliff?
Oh, you're insured. Yeah, I mean, I'm insured, yeah. Like my car's insured. Your camera's not. Right, so Ben's actually framed up a pretty cool comp from way on top of this rock. But what's the problem? What's the challenge?
A shadow.
On that rock there.
On that rock right there.
Because the sun is basically right behind him, and that's always the problem when the sun's behind you. So what I like to do in those instances is wait for the cloud to come over so that your foreground is in the shade, so you don't have those shadow problems, but the light is still hitting the mountains in the background. It might happen because it's still a little bit cloudy, so we might get those conditions. If we don't, then you've got to wait until the sun has gone down to such a point that you don't need those clouds and your foreground is in shade anyway. But by then, this will probably be quite colourful, which might be nice, but we'll lose all of that contrasty light that we've got now on the peaks. There's always that annoying compromise. You never get quite what you want, do you? But if you can get half of what you want, half the time, that'll do. So are you enjoying your camera?
Yeah, no, it's very, very nice. I like it.
So you can kind of handle all the challenges, the dynamic range and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a champ. It does a very good job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would do. It's a Leica. Subscribe. Like and subscribe. Now, what's this weird contraption you've got on the front of your lens there? What's that all about? What does that do?
It's very archaic.
Yeah.
Filter system.
What's it doing though? Is it a 10 stop or something?
Oh, sorry. It's just a polarizer right now. I took the 6 stop off.
Yeah. You too posh for a circular polarizer that just threads in like a normal photographer.
Yeah, I like the faff of the clip.
Yeah.
You know, and the adapter ring.
Yeah.
You know, and always the fear of dropping the clip on the floor.
Yeah.
Live on the edge.
Yeah, it's like an adrenaline thing. Yeah, totally. And also an expense thing. It's 3 or 4 times more expensive than a threaded filter that anyone can use really cheaply and easily.
I actually think the polarizer has been on for so many years that I don't actually think it'll come off.
Right. Oh, well, that's.
But Lee, you know, Lee filters.
Yeah.
They're pretty good filters.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are you sponsored or something?
Get in touch.
Hey! I mean, I've not used one. I've not used a Lee filter, but you know, if you are watching this and you want to pay me to mention some unnecessary equipment that I've never probably used, then get in touch. One thing I've really admired about this Canon R5 is this flippy screen. So not only does it flip, but you can rotate it once it's flipped, so that when your master instructor is sat to your side, you can angle it and show him the adequate shot that you've worked on
for the last number of hours.
Yeah. So I will give you that, Chris, that is one very tasty feature of the R5 that I'm quite jealous of. Ben, does your Leica have a feature like that, Ben?
No, but I mean, you create art with this.
And not just mediocrity.
And not just mediocrity.
So what you're saying really is anyone who has a flippy screen is really not a serious artist, really. They're not taking it seriously, are they?
It's shortcuts. First comes the flippy screen, then comes the AI sky replacement.
Yeah. With that logic, anyone who's got a flippy screen that then also rotates is even less of an artist. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd have to say.
I've got this very annoying sky up in the top right hand corner.
Yeah.
So I was thinking if I purposely tilted the camera to get rid of that instead of using Photoshop with no horizon, do you think they'd notice that?
Well, that'll be $20, please.
You answered your own question, and you have to pay him $20.
And I'm not actually sure I was asking you a question. I think I was actually just making conversation.
That'll be $20, please. Well, the light is, you know, it's okay, but the clouds have just disappeared. But I feel like I've got to take a shot because I've done all this vlogging all day long, and it feels like the penultimate moment. So I've got to have some kind of shot.
You can have one of mine.
Or mine, it's not vertical.
Some kind of brilliant shot, you know.
Well, between the Canon R5 and the Leica, I'm sure both options would be better than the Sony shot.
What about the Hasselblad?
Or you could crack open the Hasselblad with a wide angle. That would be...
If Amanda will let you.
What do you think, love?
Well, it's not raining. But no.
And so I begged, and I pleaded, and I made deals that I had no intention of fulfilling. But in the end, I managed to get my grubby hands on that Hasselblad camera.
Basically, I've got a quite simple foreground here, and I've tried to sort of make the amount of sky that I have at the top, which probably just looks like a sliver of white, but the amount of sky that I have at the top, I'm trying to get about the same as the amount of rocks that I have in this immediate foreground here, just so that it balances out nicely. And then of course I've put the lake slap bang in the middle. The reflection was absolute perfection about 5 minutes ago, but by the time I got set up in this sketchy position, as you can see, I'm on this cliff, quite precarious. and it took a few minutes to get into position safely. So now that I've done that, of course the light has completely faded and people have started diving into the lake and it's just ripples all over. So that's what you get for taking your time.
Now, if Ben's watching this video, I did manage to get a really epic drone clip of you, so that'll be $20, please. Anyway, here's the shot that I got. Day we'd had up in the Highland of Nova Scotia. But this was only the beginning of the adventure, so tune into next week's episode where somebody's camera goes for a swim.
Well, I think that's the best of the light. I know that I got a pretty good shot. What about you guys?
Killer.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, can you talk a bit louder?
That's a thermosol. What are you doing?
If you're watching Thermosol, this is the 10th time I've promoted your product, gratuitously I might add. If you could just get in touch. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it the old thumbs up, give it the old Leica and subscribe. Tickle that bell, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Yeah, and Chris really helped out too.
Chris?
Yeah, he gave me some good tips.
Tips, did he?
Huh?
Yeah.
That was great. Big help.
You got a good tip from Chris, did you?
Yeah, of course you did. I learned from the best.
Yeah, I shoot with a Sony. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, I shoot with a Sony.
Sorry. Yeah, they're pretty nice.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go down to the first. One more.
I'm just trying to line up my shot. Have you not got the flippy screen there on that expensive Leica?
No.
You don't feel like you need one?
It's not necessary for good photography.